What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Walker here, coming at you with your lesson for today. So I am going over the notes for absolute value. Okay, so there are four different examples we are going to go through. We're going to go through example 1 and one of these examples together. We're also going to go through example 2 and one of the examples, and example 3 and example 4. So I'm going to be doing all the A examples. You guys will be doing the B examples. Now this whole booklet here, when you're done, this is going in on page 22. Okay, page 22. All right, I'll reiterate that at the end. All right, let's take a look at the first part. All right, first part here, we are evaluating an expression with an absolute value. All right, now quick crash course in absolute value. What it does is anything that's inside of the bars to the left and the right, once you see this around something, you are taking the positive version of that answer. So for -4, it's +4. For +4, it's +4. It's not the opposite that you're taking. It is specifically the positive version of whatever is inside of that bracket. Now, this is just talking about how far that number is from 0. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at a couple right now about us evaluating them. So first one we're going to do is this right here. Now, if you need to follow along, you can go through, you can read through this example. I'm not going to reread that for you because you're able to read. Now, let's take a look at the first one for us. Now, the first one has us going through, and we are plugging in -2 for x. Sorry about that. I need to adjust my headset. So, -2 goes in for x here, and we're going to go through and evaluate it. So, let's take a look. All right, so first off, inside of the brackets, we have 4, and instead of x next to it, we have -2. Now, all this is being added to by 3, and that's where the bar closes. Now, inside of the bars, nothing can come into it, okay? These are like kind of super parentheses. So this and this are impenetrable. So you got to make sure you leave this alone. And then when you take the absolute value, it'll interact with everything else. Now, we got this -3.5. Or you can write it as 3.5, either or. Now, 4 times -2 gives us -8. -8 plus 3 is now inside of the bar. Now, this stuff over here, this still just follows along with it. Okay? So, -3 plus 8 gives us a -5. So, we got -5 in the absolute value bracket, -3 1/2. All right. Our next step is that we're going to take the absolute value of -5, and then we're going to get that answer and subtract it from 3.5. So the absolute value of -5 is 5, and 5 minus 3 1/2. So I know if I take the half away, that's another half, and the jump from that 3.5 to 5 would be a 1. So this would be 1.5 or 1.5. Now, so far so good. That's the easy part right here. Now, the next step is we have to actually look at an equation that involves an absolute value bracket. So let's take a look at that over here on example 2A. I'm going to leave all the B examples for you guys, okay? So, here's 2A. Now, for this, we need to know a couple things. First off, we need whatever's in the bar here, these absolute value bars, to be by itself on one side of the equation. And everything else that's not inside of the bar needs to go to the left. So, for this, we got 9 equals the absolute value of x plus 12. So, since x and 12 are both inside of the bar, and 9 isn't, we now can go through and solve this. Now, for this, we know a couple things. there are two things when we take the absolute value of it that give us 9. One of them is positive 9. The other one is negative 9. Since there's two possible things that can give us a 9 from the absolute value bar, we need to go through and separate these. So I have negative 9 here, I have positive 9 here. These are my two possible answers that can give me 9 from this. So since there's two possible answers, what we are going to do is we are going to set x plus 12 here equal to positive 9 and also equal to negative 9. And we're going to solve for both of them. That's a 19, my fault, 2. So I'm going to now go through and I'm going to solve for this. Now luckily for us, it says x plus 12 is on both sides. That means we're going to take the same step to solve it. So over here, we have to subtract 12 from the right side of this. So subtracting 12, subtracting 12. So on this side, I got negative 9 minus 12. On this side, I got 9 minus 12. Okay. Now, these are going to give us two possible answers for our x. With absolute values, you can get at most two answers, at least one. So, well, at least none. Well, we'll talk about that in the next example. Yeah. So, x is by itself over here. On this side, we got 9 minus 12. That's going to give us a negative 3. On this side, we got negative 9 minus 12. That gives us a negative 21. So, now that we got our two answers here, we now need to go through and we're going to check them. So I'm going to write what my check is over here in blue. So on this side, I got when x is negative 3. So the absolute value of negative 3 plus 12 should equal 9. So let's check. Negative 3 plus 12 is 9. So we're going to put a 9 aside the bars now. And the absolute value of 9 is 9. So this answer does work. Now over here, we're going to do the same thing. So we got 9 equals the absolute value of negative 21 plus 12. And negative 21 plus 12 actually gives us a negative 9. Now when you take the absolute value, remember, you get the positive version of whatever is currently inside. So the positive version of negative 9 is positive 9, which means that we also have a correct answer. Now, things I want to caution you, not all your answers that you get for this will work. So it's important for you to go back and check all your answers. All right. Next big deal, let's take a look at example 3. Now example 3 shows us that not everything that we have is going to give us an actual solution. So let's take a look at 3a. When we look at absolute values, we always get a positive answer. So if in your equation as you're going through and solving it, you get a negative answer, that means that your solution does not exist. There is no solution for it. So in order for you to evaluate this, first step is you need to get your absolute value bar by itself. So looking at 3a, right now we got negative 2 next to the absolute value bracket with 3a inside of it. That all equals 6. Now what's happening between negative 2 and the absolute value is right now these are both multiplying by each other. Like I said, these absolute value bars are kind of like super parentheses. So to get rid of negative 2, we got to divide both sides by a negative 2. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 on this side cancels out, leaving you with just the absolute value of 3a. Now on the right side of this, we got 6 divided by negative 2, which actually gives us negative 3 as an answer. Now, since we can't take the absolute value of a number and get a negative, that means that for this, there's actually not going to be a solution. So there is no solution for this. Alright, let me go through, let me take this, put that right on there, bam, and make it small. New solutions. So, if you see that you see a negative answer is equal to the absolute value, there is no solutions for this. This does not work. Okay? Alright, we got one more example that we're going to work in, and we got quite a bit of work for us. So, obviously you are able to read. I'm going to let you read the example up top on your own. I'm not going to go through and read that. We're going to actually take a look at example 4A for our last of our A examples. Alright, like I said before, we need to get what's inside of the absolute value bracket by itself. So, we got to get that x plus 1 by itself first. So, first step we need to do, bring that back down. Alright, so first step we need to do, we got to get that x over here to the other side. So, if I move x to the other side, right now it's subtracting, we are going to add to the other side. Okay, so adding both x's to both sides, these can cancel out. Now we got 3x plus x, that's going to be a 4x minus 4, and that equals 2 and the absolute value of x plus 1. So this 2 right here is being multiplied by this x plus 1. So we need to go through and divide both sides by 2 to get the absolute value here by itself. So I'm dividing everything on the right by 2, everything on the left by 2. So this is just going to give us an x plus 1 by itself in the bar. Over here, if I divide 4x by 2, that just gives me 2x. And if I divide negative 4 by 2, that gives me negative 2. Now that we got it like this is similar to what we had on example 2A. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate into two possible answers now. So our two possible answers we'll have is x plus 1 is equal to the positive version of our answer, which is 2x minus 2. Now, by positive, I mean what's currently there. Now, the negative version of our answer is us just switching the signs up for this. So we'll have negative 2x and a positive 2 over here. So I got x plus 1 is equal to both of these two things. Now, as I go through and solve them, I solve them like another multi-step equation. So I'm going to bring my x to the other side by subtracting. So over here, that's going to cancel out our x's here, leaving me with 1 is equal to x minus 2. Now over here, when I do that, that gives me 1 is equal to negative 3x plus 2. Now I need to go through and I need to do my next step, which is adding the 2 over here to the other side. And on this side, I'm going to actually subtract 2 because this is currently positive. So I got 1 plus 2 over here. I got 1 minus 2 over here. So over here, I have x is equal to 3. And over here on the right, I have one more step I'm going to actually have to do. So I have negative 1 is equal to negative 3x. To get x by itself, I got to divide both sides by negative 3. And that gives me 1/3 equals x. Now you're going to have to go through and check this in the calculator so that you can go through and get the rest of that done. But this is how we would go through and solve this for example 4A. Alright folks, I'll see you on the flippity flip for our next bit of notes. Remember, this is going on page 22. Alright, 22. If you haven't marked down your pages, make sure that you do, and I'll see you later.